Did I just hit go live? Okay. Oh, no. Now it's going live. Okay.
And we're live.
And then
We got to come up with an intro, you know. Jack and Fuzz.
there we go. Okay. I think we're a bit more balanced now,
Here we are
hopefully.
at Jack and Fuzz house. Here we are at
Jack
Jack
and
and Fuzz house.
I know that would actually be fun.
Maybe that's the intro.
But then Tom Woods has to sing it. So
Yeah.
that's a big difference.
Yeah, we get Tom Woods to sing it.
Yeah.
And he's like,
hey, what's up? Let's see here.
hello.
Liberty Revolutionary, what's up?
Hey.
Nevada
Hey, Q,
Cario,
Q,
what's
Q.
up?
I recognize
Triple
you.
Q.
Yeah, Triple Q. Nevada Car recognize you. Wow, I know all you guys.
Let us know. Oh, I'm like, that sounded too loud for me. Let us know if you can hear us clearly, see us clearly.
Yeah,
we just
how's the
adjusted
camera?
some new stuff here. So we might look a little bit more crisp than usual.
Is it coming in good?
Yeah, let us know if it's coming in good in the comments here. Oh my goodness.
Hey, all of a sudden I was like, I can't
It's
see
like all of a
comments,
sudden-
and then it flooded.
Yeah.
Hey, whoa, Socratic Sounds. That's a cool name.
Thanks, Robert.
Thanks, Robert. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
Zach.
really kind of you.
It's been a while. That's funny, Zach, because I just saw him for the Hangout.
That's true. You were just partying. Hey,
That's
what's
really
up?
fun.
Yeah, Augie 93. Walter, I can't say that last name. Would you? It's
Oh, I can say
you
it.
can. Okay, good.
Wajkila.
Sure, why not? It's probably some like Nordic thing. Sharper 4221. Reagan
Josh.
Milne.
Welcome, Josh.
Josh
Matiscus.
Thomas.
That's a cool name.
Okay,
Matiscus.
Matiscus. Thanks for saying love your work. Yeah, I'm like just reading off as I go. Okay, so good to see
Welcome.
everybody. Welcome to what day is today? It's
Friday.
Friday.
What day is today?
I'm losing
Hey,
track of days.
Shane,
It's been crazy. It's been
Kristen,
very crazy.
Ashley.
Yeah. So we've been busy.
Tom Woods' house.
It's been a while.
Yeah, someone said Tom Woods' house. Exactly.
Tom
That's
Woods'
one of the
house.
things.
That is one of the things.
That was really fun.
Yeah, talk about what all went down for that.
Okay. So do I go in all detail of like
I mean,
how
not
the
every
idea
single
started?
detail will be here all night, but just
We'll be
yeah,
all
like
night.
you can talk about the idea and stuff, and then that was fun goofing around, coming up with some lyrics.
Zach's question. How much to make y'all take a shot?
Yeah, that is the
Name
most
your
important.
price.
The most
Yes,
important question
please.
that
Yes,
I should do. Zach's like, how much? I don't know. She actually has to be very, or at least semi sober, because I mean I don't know. We could take baby shots.
Yeah.
So
$5.
oh man.
That's really funny.
But basically,
No.
we have some stuff to do tomorrow. We have some fun hangouts to do. So
Yeah.
you can't get completely crazy.
I guess not. So yeah, anyways. 5.
5 what?
But check out the campaigns, check out if you didn't get a patch, we have a keychain for sale.
Mm,
And Zach knows already.
right.
But and the shall not be infringed patches, got the Velcro or whatever that is.
The Velcro. Yeah, it's got a Velcro back.
Shall not be infringed AR.
That's true. We are wrapping up the campaign this weekend. Overall, it's been pretty awesome. So your first set of products,
Yeah.
those are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You show up the keychain.
Young fascist. That's funny.
Those are pretty
Josh.
cool.
Hey, Chad. Hey, Antonio.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so that's been fun. That was what we kicked off the new year with, was new product line. If you saw, it's called Philosopher's Market, So we got that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you'll see some more things coming out. Excited.
Awesome. So you were telling us before about how Tom Woods' house came about before you got sidetracked?
Yeah. So the reason we made the song is because I heard him have a podcast with Gene Epstein, and they were just enthusing about how they had like get-togethers at their house. Gene had like a movie showing, and Tom had like a little party, and I just like was talking to you about it, and I was like, how fun would it be to make like a party song? And then I brought that up, and we were like, "Oh, what if it was like Tom Wood's house? Like, it's a party at Tom Wood's house. That's perfect." So we just like came up with it, and it was really, really fun to like practice and and then go to studio. That was really cool. So, and then the coolest part of it all was, if you've listened to the song, like at the end, I'm like, "So Tom Woods, can I like actually come over to your house?"
Yeah.
Paraphrasing. And it was cool because he actually liked it on Facebook. He said, "I love this. We should be hanging out anyways." I was like, "Wow, that's really cool." And then so we started talking. We're like, making plans about having the music video
Yeah.
at his house.
So it is true now. What once was just a meme or parody video will now become reality. We will go to Tom Wood's house and we will somehow shoot a music video. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but somehow I'm going to make it work that we shoot a music video at Tom Wood's house.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And, outside of that, obviously, we've been working on a lot of different things coming up. The 5 gun control myths debunked a video that was a lot of fun to do. And thank you again to everybody who supported us on the second Red Flag reality campaign. Obviously, we didn't hit the goal that we wanted, but I think we made a pretty solid video adding on 2 more gun control myths, dealing with gun shows and dealing with the suppressors or silencers. You said silencers, but really it's like suppressor, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about that. So it was pretty cool. So thank you again for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have lots of fun stuff coming up this year, including the big in-person event.
Yes, that will be really cool because I'm going to meet Liberty Doll in person, or we're going to meet her.
Yeah.
And there's going to be 3 sessions. So the first is, which I've never done this before. I think this is my first
not like this, no.
official philosopher event. So it's going to be really fun. And there's 3 events. The first is like a talk by each of us, and then a photo shoot, like
a little photo op.
Yeah, photo op. Okay, that's the term. And then there'll be a range session. All right, cheers, Dojo. I got you. I wish I could see that super sticker. I have to go to YouTube.
Yeah, I could see it. We'll check it out later.
Could see it. Yes. Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So you're saying, 3 different ticket events with Liberty Doll hanging out.
Yeah.
And I'll be there, but I'm not like, special. I'm just there.
You're special.
Yeah.
And the third, one tap.
Yeah.
So the third event is the VIP Hangout. So that's just where there's like nice couches. We get to hang out. There'll be snacks, and it's like a VIP mixer, so you hang out with us. You meet other people that are there, and just have some sanity in this world and just like talk about things.
Right. So, and the range will be fun too. It'll be on a 15-yard pistol range. You have to bring your own ammunition and pistol, just because at least for right now, things could change, but at least right now, due to all the, ammunition shortages, stuff like that, rentals are just off the table, or they're not offering them at this time at the range. We rented it out. So, no big deal though. Overall, if you're someone who just, has that and just wanted to have some fun range time, but we're seeing what we can work out. We're trying to see if we can maybe somehow get a hookup for some, freedom seeds, if you know what I mean. But we're trying our best. We're trying to see what we can make happen.
Yeah, because we want to plant trees. That's it.
Yeah. So it's been very busy, and we've just had to do a lot of different things. Whether it's just making some of those videos, the 5 gun control myths debunked, the latest video you did on rent, or did I say rent? Yeah, no, rent control. I shouldn't just say rent control, and putting together all these different products, and also working on the Voluntarist comic as well. Actually, on that note, here's a little something cool too. This is for some of the backers. Let me see how I can do this, but yeah, you can see there. This
nice.
I don't know. I have to bring it back because it is face focus. I don't know that it'll focus up this close, but this is like the latest game card of a certain character. Yeah. So this is people have been getting the series and collecting it. They're just like little collectible cards, but there's a new character. So that was pretty wicked. But yeah, just finishing up some of those pages. So it's been very busy. Yeah.
Well, I gotta say cheers. I named my price.
A cheers. Yeah.
Cheers for the super stick.
And then Liberty Revolutionary said Missouri 2A Preservation Act passed the House. That's good. Is that just the House there? Or is there also, I'm not familiar
Cheers,
with Missouri's
Revolutionary.
cameral system. Is it, I don't know if it's uni or bi or whatever, but I don't know if it needs to pass anything else, but that's good to hear. So,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, exciting. So if you want to learn about the event, just go to faevents.com and we'll even type in the chat here. So you can see what's up there, where it's at, when it's going to be at, and details.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it'll be at Reload Gun Range. It'll be in Florida. So you can check it out there. It'll be lots of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Plus lots of hanging out and doing stuff. So,
yeah, trying to make up for last year. We tried to go to Vegas for Red Flag Reality. Man, that's a really cool logo. But
yeah, that patch is available too on the campaign.
Yeah, the red
the RFR patch. I don't know if it'll focus up there, but
SWAT team, Red Flag Reality.
Yeah.
So with all the shutdowns and things, it's really cool to be able to at least host an event and hopefully have a semblance of like voluntary trade and just people being happy,
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, it's fun to actually get out and see people. And plus, for some people, maybe they've been cooped up and they're looking for an excuse to just get out, especially if you're like in a nearby state or something like that. And you're like, didn't get to go on vacation or something like that because things are shut down. Could be a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
And we hope to host more such events. This is the first one with Liberty Doll, but assuming that it at least has some modicum of success, you know what I mean? And more than 2 people show up, which I think already more than 2 people are showing up. But people actually want to come. We'll try to bring some more special guests and have more special events. It could be stuff with guns. It might not necessarily be someone who is a YouTuber or gun expert. It could just be like shoot guns with someone who's cool for fun, that kind of thing. But we definitely want to like do more things, get more events going, especially Florida making that a lot easier. So
yeah, Florida.
Yeah.
But enable. Sorry,
some of my nose.
Yeah, a little eyelash.
Oh, cool.
But so enable more and to enable more networking. I think that's just really important. Like just that in-person connection. It's really unique. It's not something that you can just replicate online, even as if you have very advanced technology and you have a nice mic or whatever. Even then, it's still not the same. So I just want to help people just gain some friends, feel more happy, and just connected with other humans in the world, and to not feel so alone in this like fight, this battle for liberty. So in our lifetimes, that's what we're fighting for.
Right.
They literally took our gerbs. Travis. But no, it's like they take your money, income tax, take your germs, the money from your germs. So yeah. So anyway, I'm really excited. I'm happy to see that there are a few people signed up already. So I'm curious to see how it goes. And like I said, excited to meet Liberty Doll. In any case, she seems excited. She had me on her show, and she seemed like she was looking forward to meeting us in person.
Yeah.
Tom Wood's house. I mean, that's cool. Like, get to go do the music video at Tom Wood's house. Like, that's awesome. So I'm excited for that. So I just hope that this year can be a big inspiration for just living free and treating each other with respect. Owning private property.
Oh yeah.
Just accumulating capital and growing wealth, So.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think that we're also going to be doing some other cool events too later this year. Like I think we'll go to Tom Wood's 2000th podcast.
Yeah. Anyone else going to that? But yeah. That'll be cool to shoot the music video there as well a little bit.
Right.
But also enjoy the time.
Right.
Not just do that. So yeah.
Cool.
Exciting.
Very exciting. So in the meantime, we could talk about what it is that has been going on Liberty Well for fun. Today, I was doing a little bit of fun posting toward Fakertarians just because of you could say different issues that they were having.
Ain't no law.
Well, yeah, with the Mises Caucus stuff. So they try to do this challenge where basically John Hudak of their page was like, oh, if they post abolish ICE, I'll post I love private property to my page. I'm like as if that's even a challenge. Like it's like, okay, so they posted
We
it.
should abolish ICE.
Right. It's like, is that supposed to be controversial?
Yeah.
So now we're just waiting on them to post their I heart private property.
Oh, so it's a
which is so
challenge. That's pretty
controversial.
cool.
Right.
I love it. Hey, Zach's see you at Tom Woods 2000. Zach's going.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Hey, just like the 1000th.
Hmm.
Takes a lot to say 1000th.
Hmm.
You know?
Right.
How do you say it?
1000th.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Crisp.
Yeah. No, going to 2000 is going to be a lot of fun. And some people have mentioned here, all the stuff that's been going on with the markets and stuff. That was interesting. The GameStop stuff. That was quite the wild ride since the last time we did this, and buying silver and things like that.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah.
And buying real silver.
Right.
Precious physical silver. So, yeah, that's cool. Also, I read The Dollar Dilemma. It was sent to me from the Mises Institute. So I read that. It was written by Ron Paul.
Right.
And, it was a reprint from something that was posted on Ron Paul's Institute's website, but it was really good. It went into the history of the dollar and just fiat currency in general, and gold and silver being, especially gold, being valued like time and time again throughout human history as a medium of exchange. So it was really cool to read and to just see that through the lens of like what's going on with the trading with GameStop's stocks and silver, and the people, mainstream media, whatever, getting mad that people are trading, playing their same game, but actually beating them at their own game, and that's what I'm seeing here is just this economy that is really controlled by these, as Ron Paul refers to it in his book, the money managers. And that's a really good way to paint it, in my opinion, like just the idea that the people that control the Federal Reserve, the people that control trading, these are the managers of money. Or even if you consider like tax agencies, like capital gains taxes, income taxes, all kind of taxes, like they own that money, and we're all forced to use the dollar as well. So they can print as much money as they want, counterfeit, they can, inflate prices, whatever, bail themselves out, all that. Like, it's really crazy if you think about it, how much we're controlled, but you don't see it directly because it's the economy, it's the money that is really managed and controlled. You're forced to use the US dollars, you're forced to trade in it. Like gold was confiscated by FDR at some point, like it's crazy. And I think that's one of the biggest things when it comes to just becoming a libertarian, a voluntarist, is just realizing how insidious the fiat banking system is of all the governments, and like really trying to get free of that is really cool. So I think, I think it's possible that from this focus of all the memes of like buy silver, it's like giving people who hodl gold and silver like a chance to be like, hey, yeah, you should learn about gold and silver, and like you should actually buy physical gold and silver.
Mm.
And like there's a lot of memes about it now, which is great. So it's like kind of bringing more mainstream attention, you could say, to owning like precious metals and crypto even as well. So it's really interesting.
Right. Absolutely. I
I
mean,
love it. It's fascinating.
it definitely caused a lot of people to suddenly become aware of how rigged the system is in favor of the crony big banks and the big, fund managers. And, Robinhood and others were saying, oh, yeah, well, we had to stop trading because of the SEC rule with their like minimum deposit requirements for, the shares from their, the people who were the actual brokerages above them. But in a sense, those rules were meant to actually favor those institutions, right? To make sure they don't go under. So it's kind of funny how it keeps those people who are doing shorts above their means, beyond holdings, being able to take big risks, but keeps them from being able to fail, right? Like the laws are in favor of them being able to, stop trading for their favor. And I think that definitely woke a lot of people up across the spectrum to just how rigged it is technically.
Yeah, super rigged. So,
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of incredible to see so many people start to look at things differently and look at the economy differently and watch many of these traditional like mainstream Democrat senators, or congressmen and women, saying to protect these big institutions
and really seeing the hypocrisy on play, right?
Right. Like, normally they're like, oh yeah, 1%,
right,
the big corporations, and suddenly like, oh no, we need to stop these crazy redditors.
Yeah, we need to protect the rich.
Yeah,
like exactly.
It's hilarious. It's watching them eat their own words and eat their own is great.
Yeah, but as you said, that actually caused a lot of people to wake up because even across the spectrum, as you said, like more commie socialist people, even just starting to at least see that aspect of how we're like controlled and how it's so insidious.
Right.
So yeah, it's not just Wall Street, but it's also the Federal Reserve banking system and all the government regulations that make it so hard to just have your own currency. Because even with crypto in the US, at least, they say you have to report earnings. You have to so they just find every way to like tax it. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, so with that in mind, with everything that's going to come up so far this year, looking at how many executive orders Biden signed, which is like pretty groundbreaking for the number of days.
Yeah,
it's pretty clear. He's not lucid. He's definitely a puppet, and I think they're just putting, his handlers are just putting whatever in front. He's just signing it because it's pretty clear that he's just signing everything that they like drop in front of him. So
it's like they were ready,
right?
Because it was
everything's
like
ready.
First day. Here's a giant stack of things that we prepared for you to sign. Yeah, so, government is a parasite. I'm with you.
So just by default, given how fast things are going through, I would not expect things to be generally favorable to most people economically if they're trying to push through all their crony deals for their great reset and manipulation of the economy in their favor. That is those who are in power. So
yeah,
I think getting ready for that is important for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think the dollar might collapse one day?
I don't think the dollar is going to collapse per se. I don't, and not in the way that people think about it. Like they think, Zimbabwe or something where it's like $1 trillion. I think that the dollar is going to lose significant amount of relative purchasing power this upcoming year and the next few. I think that a lot of people are just going to see things shrink, and it's already been hidden, of course, a lot of times where manufacturing stuff, they just cut back on the amount of product you get. Like they cut back the amount of candy and the amount of food you get in the box. They keep the box the same, but they hide the inflation basically because they don't want prices to go up too much because people will really notice. But I think it's inevitable.
People getting skinnier then?
Oh, because they just eat more. They just they just eat really bad food.
Yeah.
But well, yeah, and they're also like sitting at home with Corona
and they're like, wear your mask.
Yeah, with the shutdowns from the government.
Wear your mask.
So
but they're like really fat. Okay.
Speaking of masks, the mask order music videos definitely done pretty well.
Yeah, what is it up to?
It's over. I think it's over 55,000 views already so
Wow,
far. So that's good.
cool.
That's encouraging. Lots of people are really
That's
getting into that.
awesome. Yeah, it had a lot of shares around the world. Like, I guess the
Mhm.
sentiment resonates.
Yeah.
Pretty soon we're going to be like, no anal swabs, you know? First
Yeah.
it's like, screw the mask
Yeah.
order. It's like, screw your anal swabs.
Yeah.
Stick it in your butt. I
Yeah.
don't know. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
that'd be really funny to make an anal swab rap song.
I know, but
but-
like call attention to it. Like,
Yeah.
that's horrible. Like,
At that level, you're like,
it's
no, you won't
mandatory.
touch my booty hole.
You gotta have twerkers for that.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
that's kind of scary. That could be a thing. Like they're legit doing that in China, like just straight up, ramming up stuff in people's booty hole.
Yeah, at least an inch.
Yeah, at least an inch.
Just a check. It's so
Oh my
crazy.
gosh. Yeah, someone said I wear 3 masks now that Dr. Fraud she said so. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so insane. Like the thing is like, yeah, sure, could more layering, prevent stuff from getting out? Yeah, but the idea of wearing 2 masks, which is 2 really bad pieces of material in the first place, is kind of ridiculous. And also, why 2 masks? Why not just like dual layered mask or something? So it's just funny.
Or
They're-
why
they're
not just a
pushing
really
it.
actually a really good mask? You don't have to wear 2 of it.
Right.
Isn't the
or
obvious
even just
thing
a better
that,
mask?
that
Yeah,
calls a flaw in the design? It's like, okay, clearly that's not a good mask.
right. It's like, oh, you need
Like-
multiple masks now, not just a better
Yeah.
mask. Okay, right.
J and
Hey,
P gotta
so you
take,
gotta
a,
take a
shot.
shot. All right.
Cheers.
Yeah.
I know you got your glass of wine, so cheers to
Yeah.
modern renaissance.
I'm just glad that we don't have to, worry too much about masks around here. But for some people, they're still miserable and like following along with a bunch of stupid mask mandates.
Yeah, to this tune of slob on my knob.
Yeah. Oh my
That's really
goodness.
funny.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. Like I do my
It's
best to
good.
try
I
to
like white
educate people
bubbles.
on the situation and
Wait, on what? Sorry, I missed that. Anal swabs.
not yet on anal swabs. I think that's
Oh.
pretty self-explanatory. That might not be like the the best way to do things. Although some people were joking on my
It's
profile, they're
not
like,
obvious.
well, that's less invasive than sticking it in your nose. And I'm like, okay, I mean, yeah, maybe if you like things in your butt normally, I guess it's less invasive. But for those of
I
us
would
that
say
don't normally
both
have
are
things going
invasive.
the other way in your butt,
That's like
it's-
saying who
it's
had a
more
worse
invasive.
childhood. It's like they're both invasive.
Yeah.
Both childhoods are
Yeah.
bad.
I mean, some people have reason to think that it is less invasive, and I mean, whatever, that's your thing, but it's not my thing.
I like the meme where it's just like anal swab sniff test for COVID. It's like,
Yeah.
can you smell it?
Oh god. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You stick up your ass, and then if you smell it, then you don't have COVID. If you can't smell it, though, you have COVID. Right.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely hilarious.
Oh, that's so
But
funny.
it's just not. And now, like,
Yeah.
too, right? The WHO came out saying, "Oh, we have to recalibrate our testing because PCR thresholds might be too high." Yeah, of course, convenient right now when this was known last year that the PCR
literally
thresholds.
like right after Biden gets into power.
Yeah.
Just like a few days.
It's so clearly all staged. Like it's
It's
so
fair
literally staged. It's not even funny. Like it's what I mean. It's so because it's not something that's new information. It was always known. This isn't new. It was always known that the PCR thresholds, the cycle thresholds, have a limit where if you denature the virus and bring it back together, if you get past 35, it starts to get unreliable. And a lot of these labs are testing it, upper 30s. 40s, even 45. And in fact, the Corson Drossen paper that was like the paper that was used to like advocate for PCR testing used 45 cycles with like their made up virus that was like, developed from a database. It wasn't even like live corona they used. So they literally just make stuff up and then boost up all the numbers to make it
that
seem
took-
worse and then pull back
Yeah.
to make it seem like they're the savior. It's
It
really
took
crazy.
almost a year for that to come out, but they
Right.
like covered up that information. Like they label people conspiracy theorists or like fact check them if they're just like, hey, there might be like overcounting of COVID cases, like miscounting of COVID cases.
Yeah, I mean,
So.
it's just it's absolute bunk. Like by and large, a lot of the data that's been relied on is completely unreliable in itself. And it's gonna come out. I do believe that the honesty about the situation will materialize. From what I've seen, it's already been happening. This, for example, the state of Florida, they already started requiring reporting and stuff like that. And there's been investigations. The thing is even though it will be uncovered, I don't believe that will be reported on the mainstream media. Honestly, I think obviously they'll just, ignore that fact. Be like, oh yeah, I guess that happened. Oh, well. And, and not be like, wait a second. So what does that mean for like, the validity of your results for the past year? I mean, they're not going to go back. So But funnily enough, I'm going
When
back.
people make that connection, isn't that I hate to say obvious because as a philosopher, it's not like it's obvious.
Which part's obvious?
Just the idea that okay, if it's coming out now that the cycles may have been overcounted, wouldn't that be the next logical step be to okay, so what does that mean for the past numbers then? Does that mean
I'm just saying they're not
compromised?
in the mainstream media. They're not gonna cover it. It will
Right.
be
I'm
done
just talking about,
scientifically,
I'm just saying regular people, would that at least prompt more people to be like,
No.
hey,
because the
this
people
BS.
who, I mean, there will be more people, yes, who wake up, but
Yeah.
by and large, a lot of people who are scared, were scared into that out of fear and out of lies. So it's, they don't have a rational basis for why they were scared in the first place. They're just like, oh my gosh, scary virus, you could die. Wear a mask, stay away from people. Okay, and a lot of people don't have either the intellectual rigor, ability, or whatever or the time, you could say, to go and look up this stuff and just try to at least get a sense of what's going on,
right?
To decide, oh, okay, what was their methods for
they might
testing.
even be just trying to survive,
So
yeah, I know some people who they just work so much. They work 40 to 50 hours and that's their life, they come home, watch TV, and they really don't have much time to begin with to sit down and think about their lives or why they believe what they believe. A lot of people are just kind of acting, reacting and just in automatic mode, I think, in my opinion. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's that's expected.
Matrix,
that's expected because it's obviously if someone says in the media, oh, it's scary, and the politicians say it's scary, your average person who is just not aware that everything that the media and politicians say comes from a slant of increasing state power.
Yeah,
when they just think, oh, it's just factual and true, and whatever they say is the current truth. And that's what's scary to me is the people who actually buy into that as an ideology, the idea that, oh, well, earlier this year when they said don't wear a mask, well, that was what was true then, and they learned more, and now you need to wear a mask. It's wait a second. If back then they were saying something and they're factually wrong now, why aren't you questioning why they were wrong and what was their basis for their assertions in their first place, right? If they were wrong before, aren't you going to sit there and say, well, how did they get to being wrong in the first place? What was their flaws in their methodology and their thinking and their observations? And if you don't sit there and do that, then you're just basically in a religion, you're in a cult, where it's just, oh, okay, it's just whatever they say is the current truth, and all history is washed away, some dystopian novel or something. It's
yeah, right,
yeah.
Yep, burning the text. Oh,
Matthew says both are very pretty.
Oh, very pretty.
I think he means me. No. Yes. But I'll take it. Thank you.
Oh, cheers thanks, to that. Matthew. Cheers. I'm already red.
Yeah, she's becoming very communist with each drink. But yeah, it's tough.
I'm not a sleeper agent for Red China.
Yeah. It's tough to deal with the situation, and just you don't have to be a big time data scientist or virologist to just read the basic facts about what's reported in the CDC. What I mean? Any Joe Blow who graduated high school could go to the CDC website, just look at their data tables, and just see what the percentages are of different things, and be like, oh, okay. Even by their own tables, right? It's if you're elderly, it's all mostly there that the deaths are taking place. Okay, and the deaths seem to be all skewed that way, and it looks like it's barely happening for young people. It's just little things like that, without even getting to the technical stuff of what genes were left out from the original paper, the N genes and stuff. So you can just go look and be like, oh, okay. But again, what does the media do? As I said in your rap song, what did the media do? They switch from
they switch from counting deaths to counting cases.
I mean, you wrote that, so right.
Oh, thank you, Matthew.
Yeah. So right, they switch the narrative, and that's how it goes. They just always move the goalpost, switch the narrative, so it's a never-ending terror.
That I'll bring it back to this point again. It's just who are these people that don't put that together? I don't get it. Did they not notice the switch from counting deaths to counting cases? I don't know.
Right. Well, right.
But,
Yeah. It's
like,
just like the news is all of a sudden, hey, you need ventilators. And then they disappeared. And nobody's like, hey, why did they stop
yeah.
talking about ventilators? Why did they do that? No, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's not a mainstream news story. Like, oh, hey, ventilators caused a cytokine storm and tore up people's lung tissue and then increased the actual reaction by the body in the cytokine storm to make it worse and killed probably tens of thousands of people and globally probably hundreds of thousands of people. And especially in the first places like Italy and stuff like that.
They
So
won't talk about the ventilator debacle.
no, they're not going to talk about how the government incentivized it by financially supporting hospitals by putting people on ventilators. Like that's literally a fact. Like it's
Right.
you can go on the fact checkers and they say, yes, it's a fact. The government, the CARES Act subsidized ventilator use. So what were the hospitals doing? Oh, we can't take elective. Okay, well then we'll put people into ICU and get them on ventilators because then we get a huge fat paycheck from the federal government and make up our losses. Oh, well, wait, what's that? Oh, the ventilators are actually killing people?
Yeah, government creating really perverse incentives.
Nope, the government's not going to be held accountable for that.
Yeah.
So, and Matt
Oh,
said,
thanks,
thoughts on
Matt.
dividing up the U.S. region ideology. I have no power over that. What's your thought?
Yeah, like I mean, just that in itself just like assumes that somebody can divide up the US. I mean,
Right.
first of all, if you're talking about like the president, there's no the president himself doesn't even have that quote power. You know, like basically there'd be so many people that would fight that division, and like you'd have to like what, you know.
There could be balkanization, like a civil war thing or something like that, but
Yeah.
no, I don't think it's going to be
Basically,
peaceably
I think
divided.
it wouldn't be centrally happening.
Yeah,
I
the
think
federal- yeah.
it would have to be people in a decentralized manner choosing to disassociate,
Right.
choosing to, for example, not use the US dollar. For example, I don't know, right? Like I'm just giving an example. Like it needs to come from that sort of like decentralized way of people opting out of the system and finding ways to opt out. Because otherwise, I don't think, you know, it just becomes like arbitrary because it's hard to do by ideology because in at least a geographical area, you might, there are so many people of different ideologies, usually in an area, like at least when you get to any, like at least 1 million people, you know, that's, they're going to have very different ideologies. So then the question is, are you going to like forcibly divide them up? Now you confiscate their property or whatever. And like, that's not good. So you shouldn't do that.
Mhm.
And then by the region, you know, that in itself, like you will have people who just don't want that. So
Yeah.
there may be like battles that ensue for that to happen. So I just think the most peaceful transition is a voluntary individual disassociating with the system and other, like, you know, tyrants and just trying to opt out of the system. Now, how to do that? That's its own challenge because there's many people just trying to work on ways to do that technologically. But I think that that's what's needed to meaningfully be able to do it and like not be stopped, you know? So anyway, that's my thought. Yeah, hopefully that helped answer your question.
So Shadowban says, I really like you guys. So brilliant. It's great to see
Oh,
young people
Shadowban.
like you that truly woke in a good way. Yeah.
Truly
We're the good woke, not the bad woke. The bad woke
culture.
is the mainstream, yeah, corporate woke, which is like, oh,
Shadow
here's
ban.
what the banks and corporations
When you're being shadow
want
banned,
you
you
to-
know you're woke.
right want you to believe. That's modern woke.
Yeah, when all the governments
Yeah.
of the world and the corporate, you know, crony,
Right.
whatever corporations
Yeah.
like you, then okay, it's a sign. It's a red flag at the very
Right.
least.
Liberty woke is like, oh, you know that those in the media, those in the big, you know, corporations and the government are all colluding together in terms of they're all in a symbiotic relationship to try to exploit as many people as possible using this, you know, the force of the state for gaining as
And
much power.
propaganda.
Right. And
Like the news media.
and through propaganda,
that's
exactly.
Celebrities, that's
Mhm.
propaganda. Lady Gaga with her,
Right.
you know, Mockingbird,
Right.
Phoenix, like pin.
Exactly.
Just looking so.
It's the groupings of the people who wish to use state power to pillage others and enrich themselves, and of course, ultimately, you know, enslave everybody else to
for their own
do their bidding. Right.
means. Right. Exactly. Yeah, I was talking about this in the Hangouts with Zach and Betta was there. It was about just kind of this idea that we're kind of like free range chickens. You know, it's not direct slavery in that, they're not monitoring everything you do. You're not forced to like sleep in a hut on the slave master's property and he watches you and whips you. It's not like so direct like that. It's more insidious. It's this idea that, oh, you have freedom. Remember the social contract that you never signed? Like, hey, you have consent. Like, it's this whole idea of like, you're tax cattle, but you think you're free. You think you have an acre of land and it's your land, but you don't know that one day they're going to cash out and eat you. But, not exactly that. It's more of like, okay, you're taxed every day and you're like tax cattle. So I just that metaphor of like being free range chickens comes to mind because it kind of feels like that, especially if you work, if you're a regular like W-2, employee that a lot of people are, and your employer is mandated to garner your wages. So part of the salary that they offer you, they have to give like 30% of it away. It's like an automatic, salary cut because you're not really going to get that money at the end of the day. You have to give whatever 30% or whatever it is, your progressive income tax bracket to the state, just mandatory, and it's just really insidious because a lot of people aren't like cutting that direct check. It just like comes out and they don't really like do that whole calculation of like, wait a minute, you said my salary was this, but I took home
tax
this.
withholding.
Yeah, it's
Milton Friedman came up with that, so that's his biggest sin. So
really?
Yeah, he's the one who helped get that because basically, because before that the government did actually collect it at the end and people would write checks, and it's like, oh, well, we get employers to do our dirty work. We can get them, to kind of hide the fact that they're not getting as much money, and it feels less bad to write it all at once. So yeah, thanks Milton Friedman. That was the worst thing he ever did. He did better things later in life, but that was pretty bad.
Oh no, Milton Friedman.
How did you meet a supermodel meetup? No, she slid up in DMs.
Oh, thanks, Matthew.
Thank you.
I slid up in your DMs.
So QQQ 1701. Did you pre-order your Hog Post? Yeah, I know, right? I was so.
Oh, there, David Hog Post.
He's trying to make pillows apparently to like, I think, put out that whatever My Pillows guy or something. I think it's great because he's going to be preoccupied doing that instead of rambling his mouth about guns, and he's going to fail. So that's a win-win to me. I mean, that's great. So I'm excited about that.
I never heard of that. Now I'm gonna have to look that up later.
You have to look that up.
QQQ.
Did y'all read Intellectual Society by Soule? I have not read that. I've watched a lot of his lectures and read some extra stuff like that, but I have not. Have you read it?
No.
Mm-mm.
The only book I started to read of Soule's was
well, you could read his Twitter, and it's basically reading his whole books.
Oh, I see. It was Black Liberals and Black Rednecks and White Liberals. Something like that. That was the book. Do you remember, Thomas?
Wait, because I know what you're talking about. Now that confused me, and it gave me a memory hole.
I think it's Black Red. Is it Black Red?
Black Liberals and no, wait.
That was Black Rednecks.
Wait.
Are we going to be taken down?
Yeah.
By Thomas Soule?
Yeah.
Somebody knows, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's Black Rednecks and White Liberals by Thomas Soule. Yeah. You were right. You're right.
I was right. You know, we'd laugh. I was like, is this real?
Yeah.
That's real.
So real.
Cheers, Matt.
Cheers.
Yeah, Animal Farm is good. Well, thanks for all the cheers so far, guys.
Yes, no, absolutely. And and for all its support, here's a little sneak peek. This is going to be the products in the next line.
Yeah.
So this is top secret. Well, I mean, it's not secret now. So we're coming out with new coaster lines next month. So this is one of the coasters, the Don't Tread on Me coaster. It's pretty cool. But you're going to be seeing that coming out after we ship out all the Shall Not Be Infringed patches. Oh, wait, which one's that? Oh, whoops. So yeah, so we have these still available. I think it closed out this weekend. Yeah. And of course, the cool No Step on Snick chibi. No, I think it won't focus on that close, but yeah, so that'd be cool. Where are you going? Oh, okay. So you decide to step out to the bathroom. So I'm going to hold the fort in the meantime. So basically, yeah, we have some super cool. We have some other stuff coming out that you're really going to like. So we'll be working on that, and also probably doing another song very soon. So while she's out, I will catch up on whatever interesting comments are here. Well, oh, okay. Yeah. So, talking about here the specific issues with all the lockdown shutdowns, what's coming up, I think it's pretty obvious that those in power want to take the credit for the solution. They want to be viewed as having at least provide a solution. So with that in mind, I imagine that they are going to at some point kind of let up, much like a kind of abusive relationship or, a Stockholm relationship. I think that they're going to try to suggest that things were fixed for a time. And I think they'll probably come out in the fall saying that there is a new wave or a new strain, like a new mutation, and do the same stuff again. I'm pretty confident that that's going to end up being the case because they're just going to keep running the same thing of, you need your new mutation COVID shot, just like you need the new flu shot every year kind of thing. So I think they're going to just run that cycle for control and kind of slowly kill off small businesses and kill off independents without putting the pressure point too hard, because I think that those in power still want to be seen as like generous, like, oh, see, we did help you and now we're letting up. So it's going to be a very difficult year toward the end of the year. I think they'll let up and then go back, basically, because they want to pretend like, oh, see, it was, the vaccine, even though obviously, as everybody saw, the two peaks already had happened. There was the initial peak from the mass infection that, was just the first wave spread. And then just like every winter, just because of weather changes, since it gets colder, there's more cloud coverage. People tend to congregate closer indoors. There's less sunlight and humidity, which is known to shred viral DNA. So when you have that, naturally people are going to get more likely to be sick. They're going to, transmit it to others. So that was already expected to happen in the winter, as it normally does. Flu season is literally when you have that cloud cover, no sunlight, and people congregating. So, I hope that people do take note of those patterns and try to call out the government when they try to pretend as if there's like this new crazy wave thing when it happens. So we will see. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Welcome back.
Hey.
Hey.
So talking about calling out the government.
Yeah, usual government. It's a lot of what we do is stuff talking about
call out the government.
Talking about the government. And doing stuff with fun things too.
That's a great conversation opener. Hey, did you know about the government and how
did you know
like,
taxation
how we're
stuff?
all slaves?
Right.
Like that's how you pick up somebody.
That's funny. Is the right splitting up? Is the GOP done? I personally think the GOP is pretty done. And I think that the reason that they're done is specifically because they did not take the election fraud issue seriously. And I think that the mechanisms for changing how voting took place with absentee ballots and with Dominion voting systems, I think there's plenty of evidence already coming out of some of the major cities, Philly, Detroit, and other places where the fraud is just pretty clear, in terms of those patterns of the spikes, and also I think clear evidence of multiple votes being put in, like where people would come in on polling day and they're like, you already voted, and you're like, wait, what? Like their absentee ballots are set in. You have the issue of multiple ballots being set. I think that there's going to be a lot coming out with that this year in terms of exposure. That, I mean, obviously Project Veritas already led to one arrest of a woman who herself had like literally been able to fake or manipulate thousands of votes, one person, thousands of votes. So imagine what happens if you have 10 people doing that in a state. I mean, it's not hard.
And getting paid for each amount of votes that
right.
So
someone's getting paid to basically go and do that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just so obvious. So I mean, the fact that the Republicans, assuming ones that are not already bought in, just ones that have a self-interest, didn't take that election fraud issue seriously. I mean, that's pretty crazy. I mean, it's
Did you see an article about its, I forgot who wrote it, but it was something like, people are saying, oh, there's this conspiracy to cover up the election fraud. No, we didn't cover up fraud, like the election fraud. It's like we just fortified the election. So they actually like admit basically that they had this cabal of people across the news media and
or the Time magazine article
companies. Yeah, that might have been.
Yeah. Yeah, Time magazine article literally came out saying,
So
there was a literal.
But they're just changing the script and saying, so we do exist, and yes, that's all true, but our purpose is the opposite.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I would say they're pretty much
that answered your question, Matthew.
Yeah, Matt says I was in Philly and balance checking my mailbox. I mean, it's just so easy. Like honestly, it is so easy to manipulate votes when you have the ability to do it technologically and you have very loose standards for mail-in or absentee ballots. That again, some of these places, the rules are just changed, outright to extend things and other stuff. So you know what I mean. Some people try to say, oh, there's all the security measures. Yeah, it's like in certain places there might be security measures, but not with the new change. Absentee ballots are the ones where they were just sent out to everybody blanket, regardless of whether they did live there or were still in the state and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, the opportunity for fraud was absolutely tremendous. And I think that since Democrats are in power, I don't see that changing. You know what I mean? I don't see how that's gonna change now.
But you're saying like the Republicans that were in power didn't, call attention to.
Yeah, the Republicans in power were like distancing themselves from Trump by and large in terms of the mainstream.
Wasn't there going to be a hearing though?
It was stupid.
And that's when there was the quote, riots at the Capitol or whatever.
Yeah, well, they were supposed to be just the hearings on the electors, but
yeah, and the protests. A lot of the protesters were there. To support the idea that there could be some election fraud.
Yeah,
so it's just like coincidence. Timing of just being let in and then the publicity and then now being able to use that to declare a literal war against Americans and by just saying, oh, you're a Trump supporter, or, oh, you believed in that there was election fraud, like you're a domestic terrorist. Like that's crazy that it's now gotten to this point and this is where we are in the timeline. Like wow. So
yeah, I mean, those people were led into the Capitol. I mean, that was pretty clear in the first place, just because obviously there's a lot of armed security in the first place, so people could have gotten shot earlier, but they didn't get shot till they're inside. That one lady, but there's video where literally the cops lift up the gate and pull it back. So I mean, it's like one of those things. It's like okay, there's little video evidence of the cops, actually physically pulling the gate back and letting them in. So. I don't know who called that shot or whether that was personal. Like maybe there were sympathizer cops. I don't know. I can't prove or disprove anything. I don't know inside their heads, but they were let in. Like that is on video. So, it could have been benign in terms of just support or could have been a setup. But no matter what, obviously those in power are going to use it to weaponize, deep state against everybody. They're not going to limit to Trump supporters in the end, of course.
Right.
What I mean? They're going to use it to go after everybody.
Like John Brennan saying libertarians.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, already.
Even libertarians.
You're like, oh, and libertarians. Yeah. Associating with a bunch of other, people.
As they do. It's the whole trying to like say you're guilty by association. Like, oh, you interviewed this person? You must believe what they believe 100%. Like there's no opportunity or possibility that you're just wanting to have a differing opinion than somebody else and have them on your show to like discuss it. So it's just a really normal thing. Yeah. But yeah. So and then like this whole idea of basically government re-education camps. I'm like, that's literally what the CCP does in China. Like that's so crazy and Orwellian, like what? AOC isn't on that.
Yeah.
She's like, don't call me AOC, but her handle's AOC. I'm like, well, don't.
Yeah.
Like, don't call me slut, but like my handle's like at slut.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I wish my handle was at slut.
At slut. I wonder if that exists. I'm sure it's taken.
But yeah, it's something that, given the political climate, now it's a perfect storm for those in current power to weaponize that on an unprecedented scale. And as everybody's already seen, right, it's already happening in terms of the technocratic tyranny. They're trying to, that is, these social media companies are trying to eviscerate any political opponents. I don't think that is a net bad. I do actually think in the end it's a good thing personally, because it is finally incentivizing people to actually go and build alternatives and infrastructure, right? The financial incentives there is finally, because people just, the pain to change has to be greater than the pain to stay the same. And for a lot of people, it took that level of censorship to finally be like, okay, where do I throw my money? This is ridiculous.
Oh, and the other part to that is in caring about their privacy on the internet, because they are realizing the turn of the tides, like people being able to be fired for their political thoughts.
Right.
Like that's a social credit system in effect, And I think a lot of people are catching that. And so they're starting to be like, okay, whatever, let me just try to find alternatives to communication. Go to events, get to know people, like figure out who you can trust in the movement, and then just try to build your community, your network as well.
Well, even then there's like feds everywhere. Like it's funny because like they said, the Proud Boys guy, the head leader, was like an informant and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not even surprised. Like a lot of times you'll find that there's informants everywhere. And it sounds kind of weird in a sense, because you're like, wait, this is America? Is this, that sounds like something the Chinese government, but no,
billions.
They have that much, right? They have that much money, and they have that much busybody time to get informants. The feds definitely have that time, and they do it all the time. I've seen this so many times, both looking at law cases and just real life, just reading up on different issues, and it's just like it is an incredibly common thing for informants to be everywhere, and that includes even in the Libertarian Party. Like definitely has happened.
Right.
So it's something you have to understand and kind of just accept, in the sense that it's always a present threat, but you have to realize that also means that they think what you're doing is a threat, right? If you're doing liberty right, or you're making culture change and they're trying to stop you, well, what do you expect, right?
Well, they're going to try to stop it. Power,
right? Just like they investigated MLK, right? The feds followed him too. I mean, it's a very common thing. It's more common than people actually realize, and I've seen it firsthand. And it's something that you just have to kind of work through and work around.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Nick Sarwark is a fed.
Yeah. So it says Nick Fuente. Should we worry about him? I don't think much of him or worry about him at all. Like he's just not on my radar. In other words, he's doing his thing, and I have no interest in him whatsoever. So you know what I mean? It's just like he's just some guy, and he has I don't agree with him on a lot of stuff. So that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Nick Sarwark. Yeah, that's funny. Obvious. I mean, he says Fed. Personally, I would say CIA asset, but either way,
CIA asset.
I think that it.
Whoa!
I can't confirm or deny, but I'm just saying, if he wasn't, he's doing a bad job at not looking the part. You know what I mean? He's, I'm saying he really looks the part. Wow. That's all I'm saying. He just
give me examples.
He looks the part.
Give me an example.
I can give you some example, but they'd have to be. It's a longer conversation.
All right. Well, cheers,
I don't want to
Zach.
talk about that right now.
All right. Cheers.
So. Liberty Prime. What do Liberty lovers think about a small 10,000 plus person city where we all come together and support each other through free exchange? Great question. Do you want to start?
So that's huge.
It's a lot of people.
But yeah, you could. But I think the thing is, what I found is that's more common with like commies. Like ANCOMs, they'll form communes, and I'm cool with that. Whatever, hopefully, as long as it's unclaimed land or private property. But I think, most people that I've met, they are attached to certain places, and it takes a lot for someone to be willing to let go of the land they grew up around, and their network of family or friends there. So yeah, I mean, I think it's cool in an ideal sense, But I think a lot of people just, wouldn't do that until they're like super desperate. I mean, it would take a lot.
I
to
take the
get-
counter position. I think
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
terrible idea.
Oh, super terrible.
So
Oh,
the reason why, firstly, I think it's a terrible idea is because it's a huge target, right? If you put that many
True.
people who love liberty together, that's like
It's
literally telling
practical.
some government somewhere, because all governments are looking to undermine libertarians and anarchists of various blends.
Yeah.
It's basically saying, hey, do something to these people, right? If you have them all clustered together, drop a bomb, release anthrax, release some disease, something that they don't notice, whatever it is. So to me, that's a big target. I think that's not a great idea because it sets you up for infiltration or
That's a
that
great
type of stuff.
point. The centralization aspect makes you a
Centralization,
target,
right.
but being decentralized makes it so that it's like trying to cut off multiple nodes versus like one single giant target, and you
Mhm.
got everybody. But if there's like multiple and like they keep resprouting, you're like,
Right.
there's so many of them and I can't find all of them,
Being decentralized helps make it hard to effectively target people and disrupt them because, besides the communication aspect, it's just more difficult to pinpoint who's doing what. And also, the collateral damage or casualties that can come from an attack, is more
Yeah.
weighing in that calculation, of those who are of the most evil status interests. So while I do like that as like a peaceful end, I don't think that it is a wise interim. The closest I would say that might be interesting is like sea setting, creating community, stuff like that. But even then, at the end of the day, in order to have success financially and prosperity, obviously you need global economy. You need to tap into the global network of ideas and human action. That's how you become rich, is being able to have robust trade and robust access to everything. So,
Yeah.
I mean, not saying that 10,000 people is necessarily insular, but it's just, it wouldn't solve the problem, you know what I mean, in and of itself. What would solve a problem on that note?
You might just end up with a bunch of like software engineers. Like,
right. Right.
It's like, every liberty, it's like no one can do it.
I would say spending to the libertarian economy, that does a lot more.
Yeah.
So spending into the libertarian economy does a lot more than trying to like communalize. So spending means that you intentionally spend money with, to the best of your ability. Obviously it's tough, but anyone who does support liberty in any meaningful way.
Oh, like online and they're
right.
Maybe
so
they like sell
whatever it is,
like soap.
There's libertarians who
food.
do almost everything, but it's not possible to
Yeah.
have, I mean, you might not be able to be like, oh, I need a libertarian like home builder and they're close to you. It might be tough, but
Right.
that is the best thing you can do, in my opinion, because you're funding those who love liberty. You're giving value, future value creation to those who already are aligned. That does a lot more. You know what I mean? That can do a heck of a lot more than just trying to move somewhere.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree.
Okay. That works.
Yeah, the centralization, that's a great point. I mean, just practically that's true. That is the target. But and yeah, being decentralized is very can be very like powerful. Like I said, like you have a central agency trying to like crush you, but like you're spread out everywhere. And if you can get your communications on lock, got that end-to-end encryption, like then it's like a good, you could like build your networks of like influence. And I think a big important part to this is like trying to spread the culture of liberty. Like every interaction you have, whether you work somewhere, you own a company, you're a boss, whatever, anything, just like figure out what it takes to be like a good human being and someone who can connect with other humans, even those who don't agree with you on everything. And that's probably most people if you're libertarian. So, so, but I think like just what I've found is that people can live together without going after you and at least respecting your right to your property and your life, and not wanting to imprison you. Like most people wouldn't do the cuffing. Like they may say, hey, people should be put in jail for this, but they themselves probably wouldn't go ahead and put you in jail for a plant or whatever,
Right.
whatever it is, but they will advocate for it, but when it comes to literal reality. So if you just take away that power from them to like make the government do horrible things, or like the people in the government choose to, then you can actually coexist with people who may not agree with you on everything, like whatever. It's just like, if you really have freedom of association and nobody has the power to like just like force you into submission of whatever my subjective ideals of reality are and aesthetics,
Right.
I think that's just really important. I think it's possible. I think it's possible to coexist with other humans who aren't necessarily like, okay, I'm a libertarian, I'm an ANCAP, like whatever. I think there are people that I know, like my family, my friends, who I know like wouldn't, if I slept over, they wouldn't like shoot me in the head. Like they wouldn't kill me. Like I trust that they're not going to harm me. And there's this level of respect there. Even when we disagree, I know they're not just going to snap and be like, all right, you're buried. They're just like, okay, well, I feel uncomfortable now, but I'm triggered or whatever. Like, let's leave it at that. Like, I know that it's not going to be like violent. And if you can at least inspire that, I think that will go a long way. If you get people to just, internalize those principles and apply it consistently across the board, and shame anything that really does go against that, which is like governments and, people who do violent things, rapists, murderers, etc. Like, and give people that freedom to do that. I think, we can all coexist. So I think it's just important to just like focus on changing minds and connecting with other humans.
Yeah, I'd say on that note of like, what's that minimum? It really is just the libertarian private property right ethic, and including that to only be about humans. I think those are really the two most important aspects. Because if you don't have that, you don't have respect of individual bodies, you don't have respect of individual property. And then, in my opinion, the biggest threat thereafter to that is someone who tries to expand the definition beyond humans, with militant vegans and stuff like that. Because if you do, well, now it's like, oh, okay, you ate, hot dogs, you're a murderer, and I get to, use revenge. So, to me, those are the two real cores, which I think I agree with you in a sense that that's the probably easiest thing for people to agree with in a reciprocity sense, like that, they themselves want that for themselves at a bare minimum. They may have trouble applying it when it comes to things like statism because they've been so indoctrinated, but they themselves, are, basically, wait, what was I saying? Like, volunteers? Yeah, volunteers. Sorry, I just read like the second I turned it like threw me off for a second. Someone said militant vegans. Ha ha ha. I was like, that was Travis. I was like, I turned it like threw me off for a second. I was like, just that long ha 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 ha. It was like so like maniacal. It like threw me off for a second. It was like, wait, what? But
they exist.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so I was saying most people want that bare minimum, even if they.
That's why you said humans only, because you want to be specific that once you get into the area of like, oh, you can't eat meat or like whatever, like now you can be killed, and it's like, okay, you're gonna cause more turmoil amongst human relationships because most individual human beings have family or someone who cares about them. So you're just gonna like continue war and like suffering and hatred and pain, like Attack on Titan. Good show.
Attack on Titan is a great show. You should watch it if you haven't. It's a good commentary on the nature of like war and how governments convince young people exactly
to give up their lives for the
to go murder somebody else for the state. Exactly.
In collectivist manner, just like everyone hears this. Talk about bigotry and racism, like there you have it. That's literally like, go after these people. Like, they're a threat to your liberty. They're jealous of your freedom or whatever it is. So, or they're farmers, they're landowners, like in Mao Zedong's China, just going after people and just saying like, do that, have a war against the rich people, the owners, they're evil, and like literally murdering them. And so
I mean, collective hate and collective guilt, very powerful tools for getting mass people to enact violence that they wouldn't otherwise, want against themselves.
And war is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just creates these ripple effects because both sides now have people with genuine stories of trauma and loss. And they can just, like, on both sides, like whatever side of a war, like someone can be like, I'm going to avenge my father against these evil people, like it just continues and it's crazy. So yeah, war is absolutely horrible. And I just think it's so just crazy how much of what people do and how much they pay in taxes goes to war and like occupation and violence and militarized cities and towns, your local suburb,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No,
I mean, war is literally I forgot exactly who said this, but the lifeblood of the state. So someone can come in on that citation of who said that. But yeah, I mean, because with war, you have the rationalization for a bunch of people to work under you as soldiers. And of course, historically, in, I would say, medieval era, especially, and to a little bit pre-modern before that, the way to conduct war was to pay soldiers, and the way to pay them would be through taxes and through pillaging. So, for those in power, the best thing they could do to keep that power was to grow their army, pillage people, get as much money as possible, expand their empires and so forth. And in doing that, it created generations of people who became acclimated to just knowing what war was, and that's all I knew. Is like, oh, okay, I'm a soldier. My dad was a soldier. My grandfather was a soldier, and stuff.
Right.
And you have all these generations of people who all they know is just serving some.
And that's their family.
Tyrant. Yeah.
So like you build into their family system and their dear memories of their beloved family that they serve the state, and it's this like noble thing, and it connects you with your family, and it's just like so insidious.
Right.
Generations of humans. So
yeah,
that's why we gotta change minds.
Absolutely.
Back to the so yeah
Now, changing minds is key, especially taking time to empathize with those who have been negatively affected by government policy. Obviously, it's tragic that some people sign up to go to war. They think, in many cases, like I think 9/11, like a lot of people thought, oh, well, this is the right thing to do. We just got attacked in New York City, and I understand that. I understand
the
that.
health of the state.
Yeah.
Someone brought up the drug war, and then like that spurred on the thought of like, there's so many wars that the government declared.
Yeah.
War on COVID, war on poverty, war on drugs.
It's an excuse to tax, an excuse to conscript, and it's an excuse to pillage. So
yeah.
And in all these cases,
war on oil, war for like poppy fields,
war on babies.
Man.
But yeah, it's a hard thing to change people's minds in that arena. But I think empathy works very well, and showing through the lens of other people's eyes what war is, when each government is saying, oh, hate this person, hate that person, and you're like, wait, but we just want to chill and trade and eat and have families too. Like, it's important to humanize those who are being dehumanized by governments, which is also another key tactic, right? Oh, okay, them Asians, them Japs, they're all they're all bad.
Yeah,
they're all trying to kill you.
Right.
Chinese,
the Chinese railroad workers, just taking their germs,
taking my germ.
So,
but yeah,
I took jobs. What of it? No.
Yeah, you taking.
I accepted jobs.
You CCP infiltrator.
I better capitalist.
We don't like your kind around here.
Oh my goodness. That's really funny. But yeah, many wars. Many wars. Wars on COVID.
Right.
Wars on fake news.
Oh yeah.
So many things.
That's scary. The fake news stuff. Like, I will say that's one thing Trump was right about saying. He definitely was right to call it fake news.
Yeah.
Because it literally was fake. I mean, literally the media would just take anything and manipulate it, cut it up. Not even just Trump, just It's just been absolutely insane what they've done this past year to try to instill fear as much as possible. It's like all the media does literally is negative coverage, fear mongering to try to get people to literally bend over to the state.
I mean, just think about it. Like, if you just recall the past 4 or 5 years, it's almost like you can put on a timeline every month of the propaganda story and just start to see a trend. Like, okay, for 3 months they covered this. For COVID, it was 9 months. Whatever, you know. Like, you could probably see that just the wave and how it's like, do people have the memory of a goldfish? Some people, in that they just go with the waves, like they're not worried about guns anymore. Maybe they even buy some because they hear about the riots and police standing down.
They forgot all about that.
Are they going to go back into gun control? Because are they going to flippy flop?
I don't think so. Well, but here's the thing. I do believe that, you know, the feds will try, you know, do some false flags. So, as usual. And how does it run with feds and false flags, right? Either it's going to be they know of a situation and intentionally let it go so that it manifests, even though they could stop it. Or they find someone who is of, and I say this, you know, charitably, but just low intelligence, some patsy person who they find through the internet to give them some fake thing or give them even a real thing and try to push them to commit some bad act. You know what I mean? It's always the same freaking story. It's really, I mean, right. Even with like the Parkland, you know, shooting, like that literally was someone who had the police called him 30, it was like 32 or 33 times. And the cops did nothing. And it's not because of a lack of violent act, which there were. It was because there was a policy in it was Broward County that the police were trying to reduce their number of incident reports to show that they're having success with a financial grant program, basically. So they're trying to cover up if there was anything bad to show, oh, see, look, we have the success. We need more money. It was really sick. So that's, how Cruz was a part of that. But yeah, I mean, I expect it. I definitely expect it, Wow. No.
Yeah. In other news about war, I heard something about, it's like not even action. Presidents say things all the time, but apparently Biden said something about like not having so many dealings with Saudi Arabia about.
I don't know. I didn't hear of it. It could be. I just don't know.
It was just like
he also rambles a lot, so.
Yeah, like Scott Horton shared it, and like a lot of people shared it, and they're like, "Yeah." So we'll see. Like I'm saying, that's not action, but that's just.
Oh, actually, I think I do know what you're talking about. Right, it's a state. It's like with Trump, right? It's like, oh yeah,
he said so many things. Bring them home. Home. But like,
just kidding.
Then he's contradicted by whatever.
Right, because it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna bring him home, and then it's like, no, not happening.
Yeah, the general or whatever is like, no, Mr.
Which he could have literally just said, yeah, they're coming no matter what, but. I don't really care. Like, I don't care what 4D chess he was thinking. Like, he should have just done it. He should have pardoned Snowden. He should have pardoned Assange. And that literally was what showed, I think, unequivocally to everybody that clearly, he is in it for either himself or if he was not already a part of the game. Honestly, I mean, he definitely had all the associations to be a part of, everybody else doing their thing.
Yeah, double the debt, Don. That's a good name.
Double the debt, Don. Yeah, I know. More money printed, than past 100 years.
Wow.
So it's crazy. But
yeah, we got a space force. Don't worry, guys. We got a space force.
Yeah.
Everything will be fine. We got a space force.
Right.
That's what we needed. More force. So yeah. That was being sarcastic.
Yeah.
We don't need more force. We need respect of body and property.
Lots of force. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's crazy, man. This year's gonna be crazy. I already know it's gonna be crazy. I just trying to make the most of it, y'all.
I think more people are getting more sane.
Oh, more people waking up. That is a good a good part of all this. More people waking up.
More people are just like,
more people waking up.
whatever government, whatever news,
Yeah.
get out of here. You know, let us open up, like leave us alone. You know,
Right.
I like that. Just that idea of like, you know, the day that people can collectively run, you know, some code enforcement of whatever away from
Hmm.
the town or whatever, that's when you know, all right, cool. Culture has been achieved. You know, like
I know.
I think it's possible. I think it's happening, and there is some kind of like, excuse me, talking about like running away and creating concentration of societies. Like, I think it's kind of happening when you have such various policies on lockdowns and masks and travel and quarantines throughout the 50 states. And it is creating a somewhat division, I think, because it is that severe that people who really don't want like all of those mandates imposed on them will naturally gravitate towards those places that have the least restrictions, you know, like South Dakota, I don't know, New Hampshire, Florida, you know, Texas, like places like that. Like I think it will kind of happen in a little like in some ways. I don't know if it'll be super concentrated because I still think there will be like commies still that
Mhm.
stay there. But you know, or the elites, like the
Mhm.
rich celebrities. But I think it will happen a little bit. So I don't know how exactly that will like play out in the scheme of things, but things are getting interesting, I will
Mhm.
say.
And fuck the commies while we're here. Fuck you, commies, if you're watching.
You can fuck
There's probably
them.
nobody
That's like
who's
Lou
commie watching,
Perez.
but
Lou Perez. Someone said that to him. They're like, "Fuck him," and then Lou Perez was like,
Do you
"You're
need a
gonna need a condom."
Yeah, I know. Right?
So anyway, I thought of that just now. So you're gonna need a condom.
You're gonna need a condom.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I mean, I get why commies
That
are
was a
so
joke.
angry. They don't understand ethics and philosophy. I mean, if you're mad, I mean, there's reason to be mad historically at obviously politicians and nobles and kings and all that other stuff. But at the end of the day, if you don't sit there and think about, okay, well, ethically, how should people be treated, then
Right.
your solutions just become more violence toward other
Right.
people.
And what's the long-term ramifications
Right.
of this policy that I want imposed
Hell,
on
yeah.
people? Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Progressive income tax. Like not understanding like how that disincentivizes people to
Or the hilarity of thinking that like, you know, the Marx planks to like get to communism through state socialism. Like you're like, it's like, wait, so you're telling me, right? We're in a capitalist or, you know, pseudo-capitalist society, right? And then it's like, okay. And then you're telling me that like the ruling class is currently in political and economic power, right? And it's like, okay. And now you're saying you want them to enact the policies that you think you want. And it's like, wait, hold on. So you're telling me that the bourgeoisie who are already in power are going to, you know, enact their plans as you see? Is that really what you're telling me right now? That they're going to do what you think, you know, the way it's gonna pan out? It's
money
so hilarious.
managers,
like,
I'm saying.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's what the Game Stonks thing showed.
Yeah, the game stonks.
Yeah.
What did it show?
Robin app.
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood. Yeah, Robin Hood. It was interesting, you know, because obviously, to be fair, they can hide under the cover of SEC rules, but at the end of the day, I think the lawsuits will be interesting because was it true, right? Like, did they really come close to meeting their reserve requirements, or were they preemptively doing that in bad faith? That's another issue. What if they did it too early?
Ooh, so is it going to trial?
Oh, it's definitely going to, because there's people who are like, I mean, here's my thought, right? It's like there are people who made millions of dollars, you know, on that, and they probably cash out at millions of dollars, but they're like, I could have made 10 million or 15 million. You know what? They just made, you know, 4 or 5 million. I guarantee they're going to want to spend $1 million of that to try to get another 5 million or 10 million. You know what I mean? They're why not? They just made a bunch of millions. Okay, well, I'll throw $1 million at trying to get 5 or 10 million. I mean, they're going to sue. They have the resources. So I think it's going to be, you know, heavy hitting.
Yeah. I think this is great. I think buy gold and silver, physical gold and silver. And you know,
and if not that, then at least get these awesome patches because they are super cool, premium. and high quality.
AK
Also, it looks super
ARs.
cool
Thank
on
you.
gun bags and backpacks. And
Gun
I mean, I
bags.
actually do like them myself. That's what we're trying to make is like make products
Look,
that we actually
imagine
like
this
ourselves.
is a gun bag.
Yeah. Imagine that's a gun bag. It's like impromptu ad because they're filthy capitalists. Yeah.
But yeah, they fit up there. That would be a cool. What if this is the new design for the office? You know,
I know, right?
like you just put a patch.
That'd be awesome.
So anyway, treesofliberty.org.
Hmm.
So yeah, actually, one of my supporters on our Hangouts asked like when the patches were coming because he got the AR and AK patch.
Hmm.
So it's like, oh, that's good.
Yeah. Once it wraps up and the funds
March.
disperse,
Yeah,
then
next
I'm
month.
gonna, personally ship them out, and then after that we have the cool
I'll
next set of
help.
stuff. So
I will help.
thank you for your service. It is greatly appreciated.
You're welcome.
But yeah, these are super cool. And we got some other, cool ones coming out, but you'll see
Yeah.
eventually. In the meantime, your greatest sneak peek is just that. Yeah, don't try to make coasters among others. The other one, I'm not going to
Flexible.
say what it is, but it's even cooler than that. But that one is super cool. I really like those.
Hold your cups.
Yeah. Anyway,
So yeah. So this has been really fun.
Yeah.
Jeff,
real.
it's been real.
It's been real. It's been fun.
Travis.
We got a long
Other
day with
people,
Tom Woods
Zach.
tomorrow, so
Yeah. Are you excited?
I'm excited.
What are
Yeah,
you looking forward to?
it'll be fun.
I'm looking forward to good conversations with Tom Woods.
Yeah. We'll see. We don't know
gonna
what's going to
come.
happen. We're at least going to get some food.
Yeah.
So we're going to get some food with Tom. That'll be fun.
True.
So, all right. Take care,
Thanks,
everybody.
Travis.
It's good to see y'all. Good to see you, Travis,
Yeah. You guys are
Chrono.
awesome. Josh.
Jeff,
Chrono,
Josh,
Robert.
Michael, Michael, Langobardia.
Zach.
Wait, is that Lane? I don't know.
I don't know.
Did he change his YouTuber? Okay.
Zach? Beto. Thanks, Beto.
Oh, I think so. I think that is. Yeah. He said the keychain will be a perfect match. Red doors no step its next shirt. Yes,
Oh,
that is
that's
Lane. I was like, wait a
awesome.
second. Did he change his YouTube name?
That's really good. Oh, cheers, Liberty Prime.
Cheers, Louis Prime.
Yeah, good night.
Good night.
Cheers. Hope you have a great weekend.
Yes.
Great Saturday. Stop taking our
Night Mine
gerbs.
Renaissance Man.
I'm not gonna stop taking your gerbs, Travis. I'm gonna take them.
Yes, Night Lane.
All right. Only thing I'll take. I'm just joking. All right, bye.
Yes, nightunschooling.com. Definitely unschool.
It's been real fun.
It's been real fun.
Super fun.
All right, we'll do this again very soon.
Yeah, take care, everyone.